The message came at 8:43 p.m. Working late tonight. Don't wait for me. Just 7 words. But my thumb hovered over the screen, eyes tracing every curve of her text. The way "don't wait for me" felt more like a plea than an update. The clock on the wall ticked loudly in our empty kitchen. The lasagna I'd made sat untouched on the table, the cheese hardening beneath the dull yellow light. I'd spent the last 2 hours setting the table, pouring her favorite wine, trying to recreate the dinners we used to have before everything started feeling off. I typed my reply slowly. That's fine. I'm coming to drop off your charger. You left it here. It wasn't true. Her charger was in her bag that morning. I just wanted to see her face when she read it. The reply came fast. No, don't. I'm really busy. I'll call you later. Cold throbs spread through my chest. Her tone wasn't dismissive, it was panicked. I stared at the phone until the screen dimmed. Then I grabbed my keys. The drive downtown felt longer than usual, every red light dragging. Rain slicked the streets, turning the city into a blurred reflection of headlights and shadows. My mind replayed everything. Her recent distance, the late-night showers, the way she'd started dressing up just to stay late at the office. I told myself it was just stress, that she was working hard for the promotion she'd been dreaming about, that love meant trust even when things felt wrong. But now, trust tasted like rust in my mouth. When I reached the glass office building, most floors were dark except the top 2. Her company occupied the 14th. I parked across the street, watching, waiting, feeling the weight of 1,000 doubts pressing against my ribs. At 9:27 p.m. she appeared, not in the window but in the parking lot below, umbrella in one hand, laughing. He was next to her, confident, wearing a suit I'd seen before. I'd shaken his hand once at her company dinner. Ethan, the new project lead. She brushed rain off his shoulder, her fingers lingering too long. He leaned in, close enough that her laughter softened into something intimate, the kind of laugh that used to be mine. I felt my stomach twist, bile rising in my throat. The rain outside blurred them into silhouettes, but I didn't need clarity to see what was happening. It was already too clear. I could have confronted them right there. Could have stepped out into the rain and ended it with words I'd regret for the rest of my life. But instead I stayed still, like a man watching his reflection dissolve. When she came home an hour later, I was sitting on the couch with the TV muted. "Hey," she said casually, shaking her umbrella by the door. "Sorry I'm late. The client. How was Ethan?" I interrupted. The sound of her name in my mouth stopped her cold. Water dripped from her coat onto the floor. Her eyes flickered, confusion first, then calculation. "Ethan. You mean from work?" "Yes," I said. "From work. The one you were laughing with in the parking lot." Her lips parted but no sound came. She looked at me, then at the untouched lasagna, the 2 wine glasses. I could see it in her eyes, the realization that her lie had finally cracked. "I can explain," she said quietly. He nodded. "I'd like that." She sat across from me, fingers trembling. "It's not what you think. We've just been working late. Talking is easy to talk to. Things between us have been hard lately, Anne." "And what?" asked my voice steady. "You needed someone else to listen." Her silence was the answer. A muscle in my jaw twitched. I wanted to scream, to accuse, to tear through every excuse she'd rehearsed. But instead I felt something worse. Exhaustion. A deep, suffocating numbness. "How long?" I asked. Tears welled in her eyes. "A few weeks." I nodded again. "Thank you for being honest." She blinked, confused. "That's it. You're not going to yell." I looked down at my hands. Yelling doesn't fix broken things. It just makes more noise around them. We sat in silence. The rain had stopped outside, but inside, everything felt soaked in grief. Finally she said, "I never meant to hurt you." I laughed softly. "That's the thing about betrayal. It's never meant. It's just done." She started crying then, quietly, like someone realizing the gravity of their own choices. After a long silence, I stood up. "I replied to your text tonight," I said. She frowned. "What do you mean?" I handed her my phone. On the screen beneath her message, "Don't wait for me," was my full reply. "Don't worry, I won't. You don't have to come home tonight." Her face went pale. "You sent that," she whispered. "I did," I said. "But then I remembered your charger. And how hard it would be to live with questions I didn't want answers to." She opened her mouth, but I stopped her. "I've loved you since before either of us knew what love costs. And maybe I'll still love you tomorrow. But tonight," I exhaled shakily. "Tonight, I can't even look at you without feeling like a stranger." Her tears fell fast. "Please don't end it like this." I stepped toward the door, grabbing my coat. "It already ended the moment you told me not to wait." I didn't slam the door. I just left it slightly open, letting the cold air slip inside as I walked into the rain-soaked street. Behind me, the house was silent. Ahead of me, the city pulsed with lights, the same way it did when we first fell in love. But now, every light felt distant, every reflection false. As I walked away, her phone began to ring in my pocket. I'd taken it from her coat when she came in. The caller ID flashed. "Ethan." I let it ring once, twice, 3 times, then tossed it into a puddle and kept walking. It hissed out softly, swallowed by the rain. And for the first time that night I finally felt free.